Yeah, hello and welcome back to ConWorxx Day 2. So today, already this morning, I had an industry legend as my guest, Albrecht Wehrstein, formerly of Zoch Verlag. And now I'm having another industry legend here. Peter Eggert is my
Hey,
guest. So welcome, Peter. How are you?
hi, I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, this is as it should be. Let's put it that way. So for the one or two, maybe three people who actually, I'm having some issues here, so we have to repeat this. So sorry for this bad start here. So let us restart. Already this morning, I had one of the industry legends from the tabletop industry as my guest, Albrecht Wehrstein. And now I'm having another industry legend here, Peter Eggert, as my guest. Peter, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. That's my first time on Twitch, but we'll see how it will happen.
So I think it won't be your last time. So this is wonderful having you here as my guest, and it's a special day for you, not because of gaming, but maybe you want to briefly mention this. What is happening later this afternoon?
Later on the afternoon, one of my horse will have a big race in Hamburg, and I hope, but it's 12 horses, but I hope that we will get the number one, two, or three.
So we all keep our fingers pressed here, so it will happen. And there's Norklin Snart from Australia, and he's saying hello to Peter from Australia. So yeah, you see, we are all over the world. But for the one, two, or maybe three people who do not know what you did in the gaming industry, Peter, maybe you give a brief recap. What did you do in gaming so far?
I started around about 50 years ago. Then I designed my first game, and of course it was a horse racing game. And 30 years later, roundabout, I say I have to publish my own game. And it must be, of course, a horse racing game. So I started 1995 with the Duna Badren, a very special kind of horse racing game.
Yeah, this is a horse race that is happening at the North Sea coast, directly at the beach, right?
Yes, that's the only one, and with the longest because of 30, 40,000 people, and it's always one time a year. Only last year they have to pass, but every year, there's one day there's a horse racing game, and it took always 6 hours because after the 6 hours the flood come back, and then the horse track is gone.
Yeah, which is really a fascinating thing, and of course also a fascinating topic for a racing game. So from there, what did you do, Peter? From that was the first game of Eggert Spiele, right? That was the first game of Eggert Spiele, right?
Yeah, but on this time, the company have no name because I don't want it to build a company. But then another legend wrote in the Spielerei,
Which is a magazine in Germany, yes.
yeah, and he called Eggert Spiele presented Duna Badren. And so I got the name Eggert Spiele. I never thought about, but then the name was born, and yeah, it started because I drive with all the copies that I produce, 150 copies. I drove to the Duna Batren and I say, okay, 40,000 people, 150 games. I will need round about 1 hour, maybe two, and they're all gone. But I sold only one. So that was a little bit surprised for me. But that was in August, and in October I have a booth on the fair in Essen, and there it works much better, and so they was sold out, and then I decided, oh, maybe I can do another game, and so I made the second game and third and more, and yeah, that was the born from Eggert Spiele.
Yeah, the birth of Eggert Spiele, yeah. And of course, people know you from Essen, from many other conventions and fairs. And over the years, you made the transition from a very small, tiny publisher to a very respected publisher with lots of titles and lots of awards. So you won Spiel des Jahres and Kennerspiel des Jahres. So
Mhm.
far, you're only waiting for the kids' game of the year, right?
Yeah, but then we have to publish a kids game,
Yeah.
and
So,
not these days.
what are your highlights if you look back in time of games that you published?
I think most exciting game was a village.
Mhm.
It was the first time that we get a nomination from the jury,
Mhm.
and we also uh, go with the guys from Pegasus, and they say, "Oh, we get so many nominations, but we never won." And Inka Marcos, "Oh, we get so many nominations, but we never won." And I said, "I, I will win, of course." And so I was, I think, 3 or 4 times invited to the nominations, and every time we won, yeah, always one title.
Mhm.
Sometimes we have 2 nominations in 2 categories, but we always won only one. Ah, that's the bad news. The village was the first biggest success. Also, the Antike was the first time when we go to the we want was invited to the Deutsche Spielepreis.
Mhm.
So 1 year before, I don't know this ceremony.
Mhm.
Then we was there, and I say, okay, that's pretty nice. I will come back the next year also. And I think the next 10 years, I was very most of the ceremonies I was there.
Yeah.
Not every year, but sometimes with 2 games. So
Yeah, and Eggert Spiel is really one of the best known names in German recent gaming history. But at a certain point, going forth in time, you said, I'm selling Eggert Spiele. So when did this happen? When did this end?
that was we was growing all the years, and then we get more and more, and so we then have to decide. Okay, we have to hire 2, 3 more people because of the growing.
Mhm.
My son have to join in, but he don't want it.
Mhm.
Or maybe someone come and want to buy the company. So all the years, sometimes people come and say, "Oh, can we buy your company?" And we all to this time we always say no because we have an idea about the price. And yeah, but this time we say, "Come, Sophie Cavell," and I say, "Okay," because to this time I was round about 60. And I said, okay, I want to stop or go down a little bit, maybe 2, 3 years work less, and then stop
Mhm.
working in the gaming. But that was
Yeah, Peter not working in the gaming industry. This is a contradiction in terms. So it's impossible. So um, and when you see at Peter's background, there are DPrint Games. You see what he's doing these days. So you then decided at a certain point with partners, I'm forming another gaming industry, right?
yeah. The first idea was when first I sold the company, then I quit the work for Plan B, and I say I do nothing. Maybe I want to make a reprint from Duna Badren later the year. And then I told it on the fair, and it was impossible. How many people come and want to work with me? You can work with us, or we make a new company, or we can share, or you can build your own studio for us. And then I said, okay, now I need a moment to think about what I really want to do. And the idea was to work with nice people that I know. And so they also asked me if I can work again with them. And so we say, yeah, and find 2 months later, something like this, agreement to build the new company, the DPrint Games.
Yeah.
With 6 owner, and everybody has special skills, and so it works very good together.
Yeah, and I have to agree. DPrint Games, it's one thing. It's a young company, but it's a very experienced company. So there's a lot of knowledge in this industry from all people involved. And if you are seeing this and tend to go to Spiel in Essen 2 weeks from now, if you are able to do so, you have to stop at the DPrint Games booth and check out their lineup of games. I'm 100% certain that you will find something that is to your tastes. It's great looking games, well produced games, and all complexity ranges as well. So you cannot go wrong by checking out DPrint Games at Spiel. And if you're not attending Spiel, check out their catalog in the web, and you'll find something for sure. Yeah, so Peter, you are then there. We have found it. We have found different games, but apparently that was not enough. So first you thought about, I'm retiring now. I'm not doing anything anymore. Then it's back in work at work with different games, and then you are saying, well, maybe I can do more. So what is this now?
Yeah, because what I told you is a great idea is to make a reprint or something new with my first game with the Duna Vatren, with my all experience during the gaming industry, but also with the horse trotting, because I also bought a racing horse and I train. I want to drive by my own. Some people say I am too old, but I don't care about. I want to train and drive my own. And yeah, and then we played it one time on Mallorca with Uli. And then I said, I want to do it again, but different say, it's not a game for the big market, but
Yeah.
Works or with Kickstarter, it could work when there are maybe 1,000 people who want it. That's enough for this kind of yeah, selling, but not with a normal different.
Yeah.
So to bring it to all over the world in big numbers, because it's a very special game. It's of course the best game all over the world, but
Of course.
not everybody knows it. And so I decided, okay, we can do a Kickstarter and we can do it together because I have no experience. And with different, we don't want to do Kickstarter games. And so we decided, okay, we can do it. But then I think, now I have so much experience and we will start with an old game. And then, I can make a second side with another trail, and I have also an idea for the French in Paris, Vincent, and I want to do it for Hong Kong and for New York, but then I need many different systems, gaming systems, and so I have so many ideas, but it's so much that I said, okay, I need a little bit more time, and then I got another game from a friend of mine, from Christoph Kanzler, and he said, he make only easy games, family games, and if I can help him a little bit, and I say yeah, and I have a look for it, and I really like it, and it's about history, and I say okay, history it's not my favorite kind of games, but I know Uli, and I can show it to Uli, and then maybe we can do it together. And so we say, okay, if we want to do one or two games, we have to found it a new company.
And there we are now. So yes, so first Duna Vatren is not off the table. It will be done, but it is right now the second game of this new company. We have another game that is coming that Peter showed to me, and I was really excited about this. And by the way, the co-designer of that game, Sebastian Freudenberg, he'll be my guest at 1:15 p.m. CET here, so we will talk about this game. It's called Karolingi. But Peter and I, we formed a company, so this is news, a small company. It's called Cove Games, and this company will publish first Karolingi, and then Dunavatren, and maybe something else in the future. We don't know what will be. It will be a small company, but presenting really great production value for the true gamer. So these are gamers games, and this is what we are doing, and we are excited, aren't we?
Yeah. And today there are more games that most of the time I like games more when they started with a theme. And like it was a Duna Badren because I know close to everything about this trotting games. And the Karolingi is also because also very come from the history. And yeah, if we want to do a third one, we'll see if we find another game that go in this direction.
Yeah, and absolutely. Let's simply see what the future will bring. As Peter described earlier, this is not a mass market. These are not mass market games. So we will see how we can market them. Most probably crowdfunding, but let the future decide how we do this. And this is how we will progress. And there are a couple of comments here from the chat. And let me read this. So first, going back to DPrint Games. Knockling Slavin Snarf from Australia is saying DPrint would certainly be my first visit at Essen. Maybe another year when we are allowed again. Yes, hopefully in the future you'll be at Spiel, and I'm sure you'll pick up a few games from DPrint. Another question, as Peter was describing choosing of games to publish, it made me think to ask how would you each describe expert games? This seems to be a very understood term in Germany, but in English speaking world it is perhaps not that well understood, less understood. And let me here briefly start. Yeah, we have, of course, this jury Spiel des Jahres, Game of the Year in Germany. And we categorize, and they also do, games first family type games. So that would be games that are fitting to win the Spiel des Jahres award. Then we have somewhat more complex games, gamers games, and they are in the Spiel des Jahres jury category. These are the Kennerspiele. So they are more involved, longer playing time, longer rules, but still an experienced family can enjoy them.
For normal people.
Yeah, normal people can still enjoy them. And then there is another level above that. That is the Expertenspiele, expert games that are that won't win a Kennerspiel or a Spiel des Jahres. These are for the true gamers, for the geeks, for the weirdos, like we are. Peter, how do you see this?
Yeah, it's the same. And I would say if a game takes more than 1.5 hours, then it's out of the range for Kennerspiele, and then it's an expert game.
Yeah.
And the Duna Badren's original game was 6 hours, and Karolingi, it's 3. It depends. We played it with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 player, and it works with all numbers. It could be shorter. You can play it maybe in 1 hour, but most of the time you will play 2, 3 hours, something like this. And so it's out of the Kennerspiel.
Yeah, yeah. I hope this answers.
Better for board game geeks than for the jury in Germany.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And and gaming tastes and complexity ranges are really different in Germany and in the US anyway. So often American players would say, well, this game here is a family type game. And whereas here they are called a Kennerspiel. So yeah, it's cultural gaming differences. But yeah, Peter and I, we are really excited to work together here in the future on a few selected titles, and we'll see what the future will bring. So, and from my side, I can only say it's a pleasure working with Peter, because indeed there is so much experience that he's having. And what I also like is that Peter is very enthusiastic about games. So I bet you can, for the right type of game, you can. He would start a game at 4 a.m. in the morning. So if it's the
Sure.
right game, and play it for 3 hours, and this is very good to have someone with you that always drives you forward, and this is something I'm enjoying a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm also happy to work with Uli, and we'll see what the future will bring to us.
Yeah, yeah, we really look forward to the first game. And there is B-Wort Guten Tag zusammen. So I think you are from Germany. So hello, hello, good seeing you. Yeah, so to put this together here at the end, our plans for this new company, Cove Games. So keep this in mind, is we will have a website pretty soon, where there will be some initial information on the company, on the first game. So Karolingi should be out late next year. You never know what will happen with shipping, with all the issues, but this is the plan what we are having. And Dunavatren maybe in 23, so we don't know at this moment. And yeah, these are the plans for it. And if you are interested in Karolingi, you should be back here at 1:15. So in 23 minutes, where one of the two designers, Sebastian Freudenberg, will be my guest, and we will talk about that game. But there is a question here. Canibe Blue, good seeing you. Can you give an example of how the experience shows up in the day-to-day work, as opposed to cooperation with an inexperienced partner? Yes, I can do so. With an inexperienced partner, you have to. Sometimes it can be. By the way, it can be good and bad. With an inexperienced partner, you have to explain everything again from anew. So Peter knows international distribution, publishing. He knows everyone, and I really mean everyone in this industry. So that is helpful. So we are talking at the same level, although Peter definitely is more experienced than I am. But it's easy to talk to him, and he will understand what I'm meaning. With an inexperienced partner, maybe coming from a different industry, then you have to explain how this peculiar tabletop industry is working. And this is sometimes it's strange and very different from other industries. But I'm not saying it has to be better. Of course, somebody who is new to this industry is maybe thinking outside of the box and bringing in new ideas, whereas I'm always doing the same thing for 100 years here, and so somebody new can also bring, of course, important input. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And so also when I work for Eggert or now for DPrint Games, I like to work with a mix of new game designers, and because they bring new ideas, but also with very known people like Kramer Kiesling. They know how it works.
Yeah.
You don't have so much work, but like the Corrosion guy, the game designer from Corrosion is brand new. He never published a game before, so that it's much more work for Victor, because Stefan has not so many experience, but with brand new ideas. And
Yes.
also
Yes.
when you see the Savannah Park, it's from a new game illustrator, wie sagt man? Mhm.
Yeah, a woman illustrator. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not
it's
even
so.
sure if there is a term for this. My stupidity. I'm not that good in English, so sorry for that.
But she wanted to illustrate a board game, and now we are still make the create the third one together.
Mhm.
And on the other hand, I really like with to work with Dennis
Mhm.
because as we say, we give him an idea about the theme, and then comes the cover, and we say, yes, that was what we are looking for. So, and
Mhm.
both is always both is good, and the mix I really like to. That's not so boring.
Mhm. Yeah, and Dennis is Dennis Lohausen, by the way, is and yeah, wonderful illustrator. So really, I admire his work. And by the way, if Peter mentioned corrosion, and in the background you're seeing this is the cover of corrosion. So it's really a wonderful piece of work, in my opinion. And here in the chat, Nick, you're way too kind. Uli's English is better than mine. No, it isn't. So, and the longer the day will, the worse my English will get. So that is what you have to bear with. Yeah, Peter, as I said, it's wonderful working together with you on this new company, Cove Games. But at Essen, you should check out DPrint Games. They have a booth, they have a large booth over there. It's in Hall 1, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
14E.
One E, yeah, you will find it. It's large and you can't
No,
miss
not
it.
so large.
And
Not so large than Pegasus. Or
yeah,
it isn't there. So.
but we all have to be careful this year at Essen. Nobody knows what to expect at Essen. So yeah, we'll see. And careful is a good word anyway. Being careful, and for all of you seeing this, stay safe. And hopefully we see some of you at Essen. And yeah, let's see. But there are still a few comments. So Peter, you can't leave now.
Okay.
Can Peter comment or expand on the relationship between DPrint and Capstone Games? Will Capstone be co-publishing all the DPrint games in the near future?
Um, he did very most of our games. He passed by one game, and so we offer him the next games. And today we are happy with Capstone Games. But I'm not the guy for the contract, so I don't know if we have a contract that he have to do all the games, but I don't think so.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
but
when we work together with people, so there are other companies, some companies only take the family games, or other prefer the gamers games.
hmm.
And so Capstone started also with a family line, so that our games fits in this family line.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, this is the nature of international printing, co-publishing, or partnering. So there are so many different ways doing this. All I can say from my experience at Capstone Games and Clay, they are wonderful partners for
Yeah.
everything. But this does not mean that there are other great partners out there. There's another comment here from Asteriella. The artwork I've seen for Savannah Park so far is just gorgeous. The sketch you shared on Twitter is just the cutest. Yeah, I think the artwork is really nice. Yeah, so I agree here. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and the lady that makes the artwork, the illustrator, the woman illustrator, will also come to the horse racing game in 2 hours. Yes, maybe she has an idea for the new board, for the new map for the game.
yeah, I hope hopefully it would help us immensely. And we have a certain Matthias Notch here in the chat. Maybe you know him. I'm not sure, but he's saying, "Do you plan to talk about 830, Matthias?" This game is now called Karolingi. So we will talk in at 1:15. So in 15 minutes from now about that game. But I'm talking to the one of the two designers. And Peter, I'm first thank you to everyone to viewing and for your time here, and especially, of course, to you, Peter, because I know that your time is tight today because you have hopefully more than one race
Yeah.
today because it's a qualifying race for the
Yeah.
finals. So hopefully two wins today, and
Oh,
that would be that would be perfect. So thank you very much. I'm closing down the stream now. You have to reconnect in about 15 minutes, and I would love to have you as my guests again when we are talking about Carolingi. Thank you all. Thank you, Peter.
okay. Thank you very much. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.